Do you know what is in the engine compartment of your truck? Like, do you know what kind of engine you have? Do you know what's going on in that engine bay? If not, please pay attention, please stay tuned, because I'm going to sit here and explain what's going on under the hood, because there's a lot of truck drivers out here that don't have a damn clue what they got under the hood, and I think it's time we explain that.
I work hard every motherfucking day, I work hard,
Okay, so right here is a it's a DD15. It's a Detroit engine. It's known as a DD15, and I'm basically going to walk you around the entire engine and show you the vital components of the engine and parts on the engine that can go wrong, and what to look for, so you know exactly whether it looks right or whether it doesn't look right at all. All right, but to do that, we're not going to start on the driver's side. I know the camera's kind of flipped. It does that. We're actually going to start on the passenger side. So let's go to the passenger side and I'll explain what's going on over there. Okay, so this is the passenger side of the engine bay, and we have a few vital components going on here. So let's go ahead and talk about it. This right here is your air intake. Okay, your filter comes out from the top right there. All right. That is where your filter sits. I'll show you how to take that out. I want to actually take it out, but I'll show you what you got to do to take it out. All right. Anyways, the air comes through your air intake, and it's going to go into your turbo right here. Now, your turbo has an inlet and it has an outlet side. All right. This right here is the inlet side of your turbo. Now, the air is going to go through the turbo. On the inlet side, there's an impeller. It's going to spin, and it's going to send the air through this line and wrap it around through the front of the radiator. All right, now some other components that are on this side that you need to be aware of when you do your checks, and just so that you can have a better understanding of what exactly it is right here. This right here is your AC compressor. All right, you have a couple of lines coming out of your AC compressor. All right, it's belt driven. All right, and you need to check this thing for leaks. You want to make sure that it's not leaking when you check it. Okay. Some vital components that are connected to your AC compressor are your air filter dryer. All right, this is your filter dryer for the AC compressor. All right, one line comes in, one line goes out. Okay, you can see here, in and out. All right, and these hoses that come off of your AC compressor are going to come up and into the condenser, which sits behind everything back here. And it's basically where you get your cold air and hot air and things like that. All right, so that there is your AC compressor. All right, directly beneath the AC compressor, right here, that is your alternator. All right, your alternator can go out, it can go bad. It is also belt driven. You need to make sure, all right, that your alternator has good connections, that the bolts are not loose, the mounting bolts. Right here, you want to make sure that the mounting bolts are not loose. You want to make sure that your wires and things that are plugged in are good to go. All right. If your alternator goes bad, you're not going to have any juice in your truck, and your truck's going to be dead in the water. It's just that simple. All right. Another thing is right here, this big aluminum block right here. Okay. It is basically your EGR. All right. Exhaust gas regulator. Okay. You have a line that comes out on the exit side of the turbo, and it connects up into the exhaust gas regulator, whips around to the front. There's a crossover tube that goes to the intake side of the truck for the air, and that basically handles for exhaust gases. Okay, you then have the main exhaust line that comes out of the back side of the turbo, which goes down to the DPF filter, which is a big, massive tank. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's a massive tank back there. It's your DPF filter. All right, so this basically covers your components on your passenger side. So let's go and check out the driver's side. Okay, so this here is the driver's side. All right, there's a lot of things going on here, but don't worry, I'm gonna walk you through everything and we're gonna be good to go. All right, so let's start off with the basics. Okay, obviously this is your oil stick. All right, you pull this out to basically check your oil. You want to check your oil every single day. All right, if you're low on oil, you want to add oil. All right, if you're low on oil every single day or every single time that you check it, all right, say you check it in the morning, it's low, you fill it up, and then you check it at the end of the day, it's low, you fill it up. You have a leak somewhere. You need to find out where that leak is at, and you need to make sure that that gets fixed. Okay, this right here is your crossover tube. It says caution, careful it's hot, gloves. This is your crossover tube right here. Comes around from the EGR side, comes around into the intake. All right, this is the other side of your air intake, okay? It's going to come up, through and around and right into the intake manifold. All right, your intake manifold stretches front to back. All right, this DD15 has 6 cylinders. They're marked. You can see them on the manifold up here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to the back. All right, and I'll explain what's going on up there as well. All right, this cover here, this shield right here, you see a wire, it's coming out from it. All right, this is your MAF. This is your mass airflow sensor. This is a computer, or it's a device that's plugged into your computer that basically identifies how much air is coming through here into your engine, so that if your engine needs more air, a valve can open, bring more air in. If it's getting too much air, it'll close. And you know, you basically need that mass airflow sensor, because if you don't, you could end up getting too much air in your engine, or you could end up getting not enough air into your engine, and that of course would be bad. All right, this right here is your oil filler cap. All right, this is how you add the oil. Okay, and directly next to it, this big black thing here, this is your oil filter. All right, I know it's in an odd location for some of you who do your own oil changes in your personal cars or whatever, but this is your oil filter. All right, it simply unscrews. You lift it up, you take the old filter out, you put the new filter in, you screw the cap back on. All right, it's basically like a canister type of oil filter. Okay, now obviously that's your coolant tank. All right, you got your levels, cold min and cold max. All right, this here is your sensor for your coolant. So if your coolant drops below where the sensor is at, your truck's going to shut off, plain and simple. All right, if your truck shuts off because it's too hot or because there's a coolant leak, right, you can check here. If the coolant is below this level, that's pretty much why your truck shut off. All right, so you need to add some coolant, and as soon as you add coolant, you got to figure out where it's leaking from. All right, so just remember, if the coolant level drops below that sensor level there, your truck's going to shut off. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right, now this right here is a vital piece of equipment. All right, this is your fuel water separator. Okay, it's a fuel filter that basically separates fuel and water. All right, why would you need this? Because diesel engines, or better yet, diesel fuel attracts water. So you need this thing to basically separate the water from the diesel fuel. All right, there is a drain valve or petcock right on the bottom side right there. You basically turn this valve here, and when you turn it, shit pops out the bottom. All right, you do that whenever you see that you have water in here. Okay, you're draining the water. All right, so how that works is you have an inlet line for your fuel and you have an outlet line for your fuel. So one line comes in, one line goes out. All right, now as the fuel is coming from the fuel tank, it's going to come through here first, and then once it comes through here, it's going to hit your fuel filter. All right, your fuel filter is a vital piece of equipment as well. This one here is a 2-stage filter system, meaning it's got 2 filters. It's got a primary and a secondary. In other words, a big one and a little one. All right, and this is your fuel pump, or hand pump for your filter. All right, so when you change your filters out, okay, you unscrew this, right, and then you pump it up and down, up and down, up and down until it is hard to pump, and then you lock it back into the bottom, you screw it back in, and then it's primed and you're good to go. All right, now you have a few lines coming off of here because they go back and forth between the fuel pump and the fuel filter. There is your fuel pump, okay, and your fuel pump is going to send fuel into these thin lines right here, and these thin lines here are basically coming up into your common rail fuel system. All right, now your common rail fuel system, you'll notice the lines get smaller. All right, the reason for that is because liquid does not compress, air does, but you have to have a compressed liquid when it goes into the cylinder block. Okay, diesel engines create their own spark. There's no spark plug. All right, the best way to create that spark is to have an atomized, pressurized type of fuel that goes into the combustion chamber. It mixes with the air, it's hot inside, it creates its own spark, and that's where you get your combustion stroke. All right, this is a 4-stroke engine, by the way, in case you haven't figured that out. But these go into your fuel injectors. All right, and they're marked. This is the number 5, This is the number 4. This is the number 3. All right, 1 is all the way at the front. Okay, so these go all the way to the middle of your header right here, where your valves are at and everything, and your injectors. If you were to place an injector right here on this hose, the end would be here, and it would be roughly about that long. All right, they're massive, they're huge, and they're insanely expensive. For this engine here, they run about $600 a piece. So you really want to make sure that your fuel injectors are good to go. All right, if your fuel injector goes bad, you know, you're going to know there's going to be a compression test that you can do. If you can't do the compression test, you take it to a mechanic. They do a compression test. They can identify if one of your injectors is bad, and just be prepared for that bill. Okay, this line here is a coolant line. All right, believe it or not, the way the engines cool themselves, if you didn't know, is that there are passages through the engine block, and it's through these passages that coolant flows through in order to keep the engine block cool. All right, this is just one of those lines on the outside of the engine that helps get the coolant where it needs to go in the engine block. I had one of these lines break on me. This is why this one's so shiny. It's all brand new. All right, I had one break, and the neat thing about this is they were quick disconnect clips. There's one right up here. Okay, right here. All right, and it's like that on all the connectors. It was just simply unclip it, pull this whole thing off, put a new one on, clip it all back in, and you're good to go. All right, another thing I can show you is this. Obviously is your power steering reservoir. All right, you have lines here, you know, you just clean these up real good, right? Max fill, minimum cool, you want to check your level, right? I'm right about in the middle, so we're good to go on that. This is the cap. You take it off to fill it in. It's basically going to take this hose down into your power steering box right here. All right, trust me, you need that power steering. All right, an item that can go bad on this engine, and often will go bad on this engine, it's not just this engine, it's any engine, and that is your water pump. All right, your water pump is a vital, key, important, needed feature in engines. It helps keeps the engine cool. It helps with the coolant getting to the aftercooler and so forth. Right, your water pump is located right here. All right, this is your water pump. There's an impeller in here. It is also belt driven as well. This thing is pretty massive. It's pretty huge. They're not cheap. Thankfully, I haven't had this one go bad on me. On the top is your thermostat. All right, your thermostat is there. Okay, it's right in here. All right, thermostat basically regulates when coolant needs to go back and forth between the coolant tank, the radiator, so forth. All right, this gaggle mess of airlines, these are all plastic airlines. This gaggle mess right here is for your braking system and anything else air related that is coming off of the air compressor. The air compressor is tucked conveniently down at the bottom beneath everything. All right, the best way to get to it is actually from the bottom underneath it. All right, but these are your airlines. Okay, these are quick and easy to check. You basically just feel for air coming out. If there's no air coming out, you're good to go. All right, now your air filter, okay, this is your intake, right? Your air is going to come in through here, okay, and it connects right up there. All right, so there is a way for air to get in, okay, and to basically take this off and take out your air filter, put a new air filter in, it is just those two screws, 1 and 2. You take those 2 screws out, this thing slides outwards like this way, and then you can take it off. You take the filter out, you put the new filter in, and then you just close it back up. It's easy peasy, you're done and easy. All right, so that's basically what's going on with your engine. There's a lot going on here. It's easy to get confused, it's easy to get lost, it's easy to not know exactly what it is you're looking at, but hopefully this helps you understand exactly what it is you're looking at. Some engines, some older DDs, some older Detroit engines have a 3 filter setup here. Some cats have a 3. This one has a 2 filter setup. There's really no difference between a 2 or 3 filter setup. It's just the model of the engine that you have, or the year of the engine that you have, that would determine whether or not you have a 2 or 3 filter setup there. Okay, not all of these components are going to be on the same spot when you get to, like, say, a Packard or a Cummins or a Caterpillar, all right, they're all going to be located in different locations. Okay, but now you have a better understanding, hopefully a better understanding of what exactly is going on with your engine, what to check. And one last thing, don't forget to check your belts. It's hard to check the belts on this side, so we'll walk around. You can easily see your belts on this side, right? You want to check your belts, make sure they're not frayed, make sure there's no excessive play in your belts, and you're good to go, all right? But that's pretty much it. So there it was. I hope you have a slightly better understanding of, let's glove off, of what's going on with your engine compartment, what's going on with your engine bay. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I do read my comments. I do respond to my comments. I have a Twitter. You can get at me, jmatson20. Get on my Twitter. If you like these videos, you want me to keep putting out more videos, or you want me to put out something different, let me know in the comment section below. Hit that like button, subscribe, you know, do whatever you feel need. Share the video if you want to. You know, if you think I was wrong on something, please feel free to let me know. But I really got to get back to going to work here. I got to get this container into the rail yard. So hope you guys have a great, wonderful day. So please keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down, and I'll see y'all later.